Welcome to the Deep Leadership Podcast. Today I'm joined by Alan Beal. Alan is the CEO at Armed Forces Brewing Company. He is a 35-year veteran of the food and beverage industry with a passion for both beer and the military. He is building this business from the ground up, and I've gotten to know Alan over the years as I've watched him build this military-focused brand. I'm excited to finally have him on the show to talk about what he's doing. So Alan, welcome.
Hey, thanks, John. Great to be here. You've been part of the Seawolf Brewery family for a while now, especially on Twitter.
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, it's been fun to see this come from really an idea into where it's going today. The amount of distance you've traveled, it seems like in 3 years, has been remarkable. So congratulations to you. And originally it started as Seawolf Brewery, and now it's expanded into Armed Forces Brewing Company. Maybe talk a little bit about how that's Seawolf kind of evolved into what it is now, which is Armed Forces Brewing Company.
Sure. Well, we started out Seawolf Brewery because we were in Annapolis. I was actually in Washington, D.C., doing a bar rescue at a club called Chief Ike's Mambo Room, who had been there for like 40 years. So I had a Guinness party there, and I was a consultant. I was a bar and food beverage consultant, had my own company, and left Charlotte, North Carolina, and moved up to Washington, D.C., restaurant Mecca.
Yeah.
And I had a Guinness party and ran into a couple guys named Jason Bailey and Amit Rapani, and they are craft beer aficionados.
Nice.
And Jason's a little bit of a naval historian, kind of a novice historian. He loves submarines and just loves, Navy weapons of war. So a lot of people come to Annapolis on the weekends, especially to, go to the restaurants and hang out at the waterfront. And it's just a beautiful downtown scene, but it didn't have a big craft beer scene. And Amit and Jason traveled all over the country going to brewery openings, things like that. And they had an idea, and they put Seawolf, which, is a tribute to the attack submarine class in the Navy, and also the helicopter attack group from the Vietnam War era. Excuse me. And plus a gnarly looking fish. So they kind of put that all together out of Seawolf Brewery. And they asked me at this Guinness party, said, hey, we got this idea for a Navy tribute brewing company, but we don't know what to do with the idea. And I said, well, yeah, I can help you. So I met with them and sat down and talked to them. And I'd never been to Annapolis, Maryland. Okay. I grew up watching the Army-Navy game. My grandfather was in the Navy during World War II. So I had this, I liked Navy football when I was a kid. I mean, it was a tradition for us to watch Navy versus Army every year. We watched that game as a family. So I pulled into Annapolis, first time ever, and saw the Naval Academy, and I just kind of saw the lightning strike and heard the thunder roll, and I'm like, wow, I can really develop this concept. So, I just spent hours. I moved my family to Annapolis, Maryland, just to do this.
Wow.
Because I knew it was going to be huge. And I just had this huge passion already for the military, especially the Navy, and beer, food and beverage. So I moved up here and started developing the concept. And we didn't have a beer out. We didn't have anything. We weren't even a company on paper yet. So I started to develop all these concepts, and Twitter was where I first met you.
Yeah.
I shoved all this stuff out on Twitter mainly, and Facebook. And I just had this huge response from the military community. Where is this beer? Where can I get it? I want it now.
Yeah, I know. I when I first heard about it, I was certainly attracted to it. And I had the same problem. I was like, how do I get it? I'm in North Carolina, and I had friends that lived in Virginia. And I was like, all right, you guys are on a mission. You got to find, at this time, it was Cat Shot that was out there. And I needed to find Cat Shot, and they were able to find it. And so I was able to taste it fairly early on, and so certainly it's a great beer, and it was, it's a great story, and it's a great brand that you're building. So, there's a lot of entrepreneurs, leaders, they're listening into this, right? So you have, it's one thing to have an idea, right? It's another thing to say, I'm going to pick up my family. I'm going to move them to a place they've never been. I'm going to establish a military themed brewery in a place that it's not my home. Um, like what was driving you through all this? What was the big thing? Because I mean, I think every entrepreneur has something in their mind that says, this is what I want to see at the end of the day. So what drove you to make all these sacrifices, put yourself out there, try to build something that you really believed in? So what drove you?
We'd have to go back to, I came from Lincoln, Nebraska. I grew up in Nebraska in the heartland, and my dad was in the Air Force. Like I said, my grandfather served in the Navy during World War II. He was a big role model for me. My dad started out at Strategic Air Command, climbed up to a major rank, and after his service in the Air Force, he went to the Missouri Air National Guard, where he served on there with the Missouri National Guard for decades. My brother also served in the U.S. Air Force for 35 years. He was stationed out at Andrews Air Force Base.
Nice.
And deployed about 3 or 4 times as well. I had 2 uncles that were Marines. I had another uncle that taught at West Point, and 3 cousins that went to West Point as well. My nephew served in the Army as well. We were at the VFW club as kids every Saturday, eating dinner as a family. It's just, we just grew up around that, and I always had a huge respect for our military, and just, we grow up loving our country as well, and our communities, and just have a really big respect for the military. So that was, when I got involved in this, that was really the driving factor behind this. Not only that, I just, the patriotism of it all, being able to grow something like this and gain power or clout, if you will, and financial clout as well, to give back and help veterans, is a driving force of this too.
Oh, that's fantastic. That's really great to hear. And yeah, we're going to talk a little bit about some pretty famous veterans that are part of your team now. But so where are you at in the process? So you started with a concept. You developed some beers. You have started distribution now. I think recently I've heard even online distribution. So tell us about the process of starting from scratch and then developing these beers and then getting them to the market. It seems like, especially when it comes to alcohol, it's almost like insurmountable in terms of the distribution and the rules and the laws and how have you steered around this? How have you gotten through all of the bureaucracy involved with this?
It's in the DNA. My dad was a navigator. His Air Guard group flew C-130s, the 180th Pony Express out of Rosecrans in St. Joe, Missouri. He was a navigator, so I learned how to navigate through all this stuff. But as soon as we pushed Seawolf out there, we just got a really great response. And then, the soldiers started saying, "Hey, where's our beer?" And the airmen were, "Hey, where's our beer?" And the submariners as well. "Hey, where's that submarine tribute beer as well?" And so I just started developing, and I'm like, you know what, we need and I also figured out that you guys have all these different ecosystems. Okay, you all are brothers and sisters, but you all poke fun at each other at the same time.
Oh, absolutely.
And it's like siblings, and I grew up there's 5 kids in my family. So I had 3 brothers, so I just started to kind of develop the other concepts, and Armed Forces Brewing Company became the Joint Base Command Center, if you will, for these other separate brands. Seawolf, to make tribute beers for the sea services side, the Navy and Coast Guard. And I don't say Marine Corps because I'm getting ready to give you a little tidbit here. Soldier Brewery to make beer that tributes Army service, and then Airmen for the Air Force. And on September 11th, the Marines are going to get their own beer brand.
Oh, wow. That's
Yeah.
great. Wow.
Yeah.
That's exciting.
So we're excited about that.
If there was a Marine here, I'd make a Marine joke, but I'm not going to do that. So I actually have a lot of respect for Marines. I came up through ROTC and we were, probably half Marines, half Navy in my unit for 4 years through college. So I spent probably more time with Marines than even the Navy coming up. So I feel like, yeah, we're tight. I've got a lot of Marine friends. I'm not gonna say, but they deserve a beer. So they definitely deserve a beer. So.
It was also kind of the guiding force behind that as well, was that, the exchange package stores, the military exchange stores across the country and overseas. There's Nexcom for Navy, there's MCX for the Marine Corps, Coast Guard Exchange, and AFES for Army Air Force. Those are all, streams, retail streams, if you will. And we wanted to we developed these other concepts because the buyers at these exchange stores were asking us, well, if you make some Marine Corps beers, we'd love to put it on the shelves, or if you make some Air Force beers, specific beers, we'd love to. But we debuted in the Annapolis Navy Exchange store on October 13th, 2018, and they have 300 craft SKUs in that store. So we only had half the month to do sales. Number one selling craft beer out of 300 plus craft SKUs, debuting in Annapolis. And really nobody knew who we were then, to tell you the truth.
Wow, that's fantastic.
Yeah.
Well, now, so people are getting to know who you are now. So you have added some big names to your advisory board, your board of directors. I don't know what you want to call it, but you've got some big name veterans have joined your team. Tell us a little bit about some of the big names you've added recently and what that's done for your brand.
Well, 9/11 affected me a lot, with my brother being at Andrews and near the Pentagon, and another brother and sister-in-law in New York City, and just, knowing people that died on 9/11, and just the how Americans joined the military. Just, that was quite, I'm getting chicken skin just talking about it. but I had been watching Rob O'Neill especially on Twitter for a long time, following him for a long time. I knew, exactly who he was. I've always been a patriot, but there was some connection there. I was just like, I got to get to know this guy. He would be great for our company. I want him to be a part of this.
So let me get this straight. You weren't buddies with him up front. You were just an entrepreneur with trying to create a military, centered brand. And you just reached out to probably the most famous SEAL in history right now, a guy that never has to buy his own beer, I would hope.
Yeah.
And so you, as I understand it, you stalked him and you kept in contact, you got in contact with him, even I think through Twitter, right? Is that right? And then was able to have conversations with him?
Yeah, I had posted some Special Hops IPA beer pictures on Twitter, and I tagged him in it. And I just like, he's not going to answer me back. He would like a couple of them. I like, okay, he's kind of watching. So I DM'd him and I just said, hey man, I want to send you this beer because I'm really proud of our product. It's really good IPA. I think it is. It does exactly what I want it to do, which is very mainstream IPA instead of being, overly hoppy and crazy crafty. But anyway, he actually DM'd me back, and he's like, I said, can I send you this beer? And he goes, well, I'll have to talk to you offline because I don't know who you are. So he emailed me and I emailed him back, and I think I gave him my number, and I think he finally called me. And I said, man, let me send you this beer. And he goes, this is really cool what you're doing. I said, man, just let me send you the beer. You're really gonna like it. So I sent him the beer. He was off in California swimming with sharks, and his wife, Jessica, opened the package up and poured it out and tried it. And according to Rob, she texted him or emailed him and said, Rob, I just tasted this beer that's coming. It's fucking awesome, man. Excuse my language.
I love it. That's awesome. Yeah.
He was hooked, and we just started talking. And I'm like, you've got to come along this journey with us. You just have to come along on this journey with us. Oh, he agreed to do that. He just loved the mission and loved the beer and loved, the team and all that stuff. And he brought Aaron Burnett and Ray Cashcare on as well. And I got to know them. And I mean, there's just this great synergy and sync. Those guys are just incredible.
That's
Yeah.
fantastic. So, I mean, that's a lesson right there for entrepreneurs. You're trying to get your brand noticed, right? Everybody's got, we're all trying to get our companies off the ground. We're trying to get them noticed. Well, how do you get them noticed? Well, you hook up with one of the most famous veterans out there, right? Senior Chief O'Neill, right? The man that shot Bin Laden. This is actually one of his shirts, right? I saw this. This is long before I think he even got him on the team. I saw him wearing that shirt. And shipmate's always been a funny term in the military. It's sometimes it's buddy, and sometimes it's, it can be a little more sarcastic, like, hey, thanks, shipmate. So I laughed when I saw the first time I saw it. I was like, well, I got to own that. And so I've same with like you, I followed him and read his book, and and just the fact that you've gotten to know him, he's part of your team. That's pretty cool. So now you're doing something really interesting. Now you are raising money, and you're doing it in a really interesting way. So as an entrepreneur, we're out there trying to raise capital for different ways. We use debt, we use stock, what have you. We find ways to get money to take our ideas and make them real. You are doing something truly unique. And tell us a little bit about how you're raising capital right now.
Well, first of all, we've been doing this for 5 years, 6 years, developing the concept, building the company, going through the trials and tribulations that entrepreneurs go through. Raising money has been the most difficult thing to do. And I've dealt with all sorts of investors on the VC side, the PE side, the angel, everybody. And everybody was convinced that the craft beer bubble bursted. It's over, done with. You know what I mean?
Right.
And I said, I said, Budweiser has owned the military consumer space forever. They're not even an American company anymore. And I'll tell you what, nobody makes tribute beers like we're going to make, because we make them not only for the branches, we're making them for each specific service within the branch. So nobody from the capital community would really listen to that. They wouldn't listen to me at all. Oh no, it'll never happen. Craft beer's over. Nah, not going to happen. They have no idea that there's a military exchange network out there. They have no idea of the power of the military consumer, how strong we are, and military families.
Right.
And they just don't know. They don't know about that. And I heard no after no after no after no, proforma and prospectus after proforma and prospectus to all these different VC firms, and they're all focused on tech. They're not focused on food and beverage.
I've been down this road, by the way. So I'm everything you're hearing or saying, I've heard this over and over again. It's always tech. It's always tech. They want to invest in tech. Yeah.
It was very, very frustrating. And I'm like, and then I ran into a company called Brewdog. Brewdog is the biggest craft beer brand over in the UK and in Europe. They're a $1.7 billion beer company now. Wow. They have facilities on 4 continents, and they have about 30 locations, tap rooms, fooderies around the world. And they have raised over $130 million through what we call Regulation A type crowd stock offerings that are really crowdfunding. It's really a brilliant program that was executed back in 2012. The Obama administration had put this in to assist small companies like ours in raising capital, because VCs weren't coming, to the table to help small companies outside of tech. So I looked at Brewdog. They had just gotten done raising $10 million to open a break into the U.S. and open a brewery in Columbus, Ohio. And I saw the securities attorney's name down at the bottom of their Regulation A circular. And I said, this is brilliant. I said, I was thinking to myself, not only that, but I can get the military community involved in this,
Yes.
and have them help raise money and be part of the company, which is what we wanted to do in the first place. So I got a hold of a guy named Kendall Almarico, who is Brewdog's securities attorney, and he's the top Regulation A attorney in the country. He's the pioneer of it all. And boy, I told him, Armed Forces Brewing Company, Seawolf Brewery, Rob O'Neill, Alan Beal. We've got distribution, we've got global export partners in planning, and he emailed me back in 20 minutes.
Oh, wow.
And he goes, yes, I'll take you on as a client.
Oh, wow. Wow. That's fantastic. So once again, here, for entrepreneurs, that's a lesson. So you're struggling to find capital, you're struggling to find money, you're looking for that needle in the haystack, right? We've all been there. But you took a really unique approach and contacted, you found this guy's name, you contacted him, you pitched your business, and suddenly now you have one of these top guys who does, is involved with this crowdsource funding of a company, now is willing to take you on. And you did it. You put out an offering now where anyone, correct me if I'm wrong, anyone can invest now in Armed Forces Brewery, right? You've got a campaign going on where you've got Rob O'Neill and you've got, Ray Cashcare that are in these amazing videos, these funny videos, and they're going viral all over the internet. And again, I think, for me, you almost took a page out of the Dollar Shave Club. For those who are listening, Dollar Shave Club, when they launched, they created this really outrageous video that went viral. And I think when I watch those videos, they're reminiscent of that early Dollar Shave Club kind of approach. And was that your motivation behind it, or is it just was wacky and I don't know?
Well, when you're dealing with SEALs, there's already a lot of wackiness going on there. but I'm kind of wacky. Kendall Almarico is kind of wacky. We're all this group of wacky people and creatives as well. And when you get a group of people like that together, yes, the Dollar Shave Club video was probably a part of the muse there. But I mean, after even before shooting that video and completing it, Darren McBurnett and Rob and some of us, we had even wackier commercials already, the scripts already written that you're going to see coming out later on. So it's just a lot of fun to do that. We're a little bit irreverent at times, and that kind of gets us into a little bit of trouble with certain groups of people, but it's a lot of fun and our heart's in the right place. And we just think we're going to be doing great things for the military community. I mean, what's better than having a great beer together,
Well, and the fact that you're irreverent is perfectly consistent with your customer base, because we, being a Navy veteran myself, we're pretty much, we've been deployed. We spend time, we spend way too much time together on ships in the sea somewhere, and we come out and we like to have a beer, we like to have a good time, and we like to, we like to have fun, right? So telling jokes that are a little off color, right? That's just something we do.
Yeah. So we just want to be real. That's what we wanted to be.
I love it. So I've had Cat Shot. I love it. It's a lager, right? That's the best way to describe it.
Yep.
And now you've got your special hops, which is more of an IPA. So what are the next beers? I know you've got a lot of plans coming up, but what's the next one in line? I know there was, I think there was a Ship Driver was at one point. There was a submarine themed beer, which I'm kind of like, where's that submarine themed beer? So
yeah.
So what's next in terms of on the beers?
We're going to have multiple submarine beers, John. Don't worry about that. Okay. Absolutely. Okay. And there's a backstory about that too, I'll share with you. But Ship Driver is coming out. We've been promising that for quite a while now. We wanted to get the label just right, and Bob's had the recipe for that forever. Just waiting to get the can right, and it's a tribute to surface warfare crews and surface warfare officers. Is what it is. That's why we call it Ship Driver. We think it's going to be a big seller for us, and I'll tell you what, it's an excellent beer as well. we have some beers coming out. I can't spill the beans right now,
Okay.
but there's one beer in particular that is really going to be significant that we're really excited to get out. But we're getting into the fall time as well, and we've always
don't say it. Don't say pumpkin spice something.
No, 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 no. Yeah, none of that and no seltzers.
Okay, good, good.
We have a coffee porter, and you submariners, so you're underneath the ocean there months at a time, months and months and months at a time. And we heard you drink a lot of coffee down there.
We do actually. That's sponsor to this podcast is Bottom Gun Coffee, and it's a coffee company that's was founded and is run by submarine veterans. So yeah, we know coffee. So that's for sure.
And we just, after doing some research and some gathering some data from submariners and what style of beer would be great for them. We've got a coffee porter that is absolutely incredible. I've already tasted it and everything. So that's going to be coming out. That will be our first submarine beer.
Nice.
That's our coffee porter.
That's fantastic. So one thing you recently just announced online distribution for the beer, because I know we talked before the show started. When I first heard about the company, I had to kind of find it. It was in Virginia at a bunch of different stores, so I had to send my friends in Virginia to go get me some. But now I can order it online. Just recently, I just ordered some of the cat shot online, and it showed up, and we threw it in the fridge, and it was great. So, so online distribution, is that all 50 states, or where is that now?
So again, we're navigating through all of the different obstacles to hit. Right. It takes time to, without capital, you have to mass produce to get your beer distributed out there, and distribution takes time when you have to navigate through the 3-tier system in every state. I have been looking for 2 years to find. I had heard about online ordering and shipping, especially of wine. Mm-hmm. There are a lot of legalities involved, but I happened to just, stumble across a store in Virginia Beach that is licensed to sell online and ship to 46 states in the U.S. They paid all the licensing fees and shipping fees and been able to navigate through that. And boy, I'll tell you what, I was so excited. We're launching an offering, and just about everybody in the country gets to try the beer now. We can at least get it out to them so they can taste it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, so, that's great.
Yeah, 46 states right now for online ordering. It's a little bit more expensive because of the shipping cost. But this is the reason why we're raising capital, so that we can acquire our own brewing facility and get this distribution, mass production, mass distribution out to everyone in the country, because we've got a huge demand for this.
That's fantastic. So you're starting the national distribution through online, and eventually, now the capital being raised is going to be for your own brewery. Is that right? Is that what you're just saying? Yeah. So you're gonna have your own brewery, where you have these recipes that you have developed that'll be done in your own brewery. Then at that point,
the lab, we'll have the lab where Bob does all the laboratory stuff.
That's fantastic. That's going to be fun. Now, you've also announced some things. Have you gone public with some of the things related to Navy football yet, or is that something that's top secret?
No, I can dish out the deal, the details on that. Okay. We are a proud supporter of Navy athletics, specifically Navy football. It's now a done deal. We had a little bit of negotiation time there, but Special Hops IPA will be offered in Navy Stadium concessions, even on the public carts. And we have, with our sponsorship package, we have a 20 by 40 tailgating tent at the Navy Fest area. Rob O'Neill will be appearing for all of the home games that we'll be at, which is home game September 4th. He's going to be there for the September 11th, 20th year anniversary of 9/11 game. They'll be there for the October 9th game, home game against SMU, and then the November 20th game as well against East.
That's fantastic. Wow, that's really good. So Rob O'Neill will be there on September 11th, representing your brand, and also I would imagine everybody in that stadium wants to buy him a beer. I would hope so.
Absolutely. And on that date, September 11th, we are going to unveil our Marine Corps brand to the country as well.
Nice.
Yep. If you, I don't know if you saw it, John, the Navy uniforms for the Navy Air Force game, which is on September 11th, our Marine Corps uniforms. They are just absolutely badass uniforms too. They're really, really cool. So they're going to be wearing those with a tribute to the U.S. Marine Corps. We're going to launch our Marine Corps brewing brand, but we'll also have Airmen Brewery at our tent as well. We'll have a little place for the Air Force fans to come to as well.
Okay. So you're going to you don't care about the rivalry, right? You just want to sell beer. That's what they say. What they say? Even they said Republican. What is it? Yeah, the Republicans buy sneakers too. That was the line that Jordan said. I always say that too about my books. I don't care what your political stripes are. Buy my books. You know. So same thing, right?
We wanted to go back to Colorado Springs, knowing there's a beer brand for them too.
Absolutely, we love the Air Force, right? We love the Navy. I love it. So as you look back on you from the time that you said, I'm going to build this brand, that I really am excited about it, to where you're at today. What are some things that you've learned through that process?
You're going to hear a lot of no's.
Yeah.
But don't ever let if you've done your work on your brand, your business, your market, if you know inside in your heart and your head that you've really done the work and analyzed what you're doing, don't let anybody tell you can't do it. I've heard that time and time again. It'll never work. The craft beer business is over. The military will never support you. You're, blah, 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 blah. I've heard it from the most seasoned business people and investors around the country. And I just don't take that. Don't take it. Keep going for your dream. Keep going and do what you know is right, and you'll make it.
No, that's great. That's great. Great advice. Yeah, that's great. Well, that's good. So how can people find out more about the company, and especially the fundraising that's going right now, where they can actually, if you're listening to this podcast right now, you can actually own part of Armed Forces Brewery. So tell us a little bit about that.
You can, but I want to supplement my last answer and say, listen to people as well. Listen to people who have been there, like John Rennie.
Yes.
Get up in the morning and watch his tweets and get your motivational leadership mentoring from him.
Yes, absolutely.
But the answer to your question is they can go to our website, www.armedforcesbrewingco.com. But if you go to our social media, there's links for all sorts of other stuff. We're doing splash pages with video content where you can go buy special hops online, or where you can go buy cat shot online, or where you can go and invest and see these different videos that we've put out. The crazy funny one with Rob and the team, and then the real serious one that we put out called Our Mission, which is, we're really proud of that video. We think it's a choker, and it really digs down in the details of what our company's really about. So the website is the best place to go.
Okay, so we'll put links into the show notes for the company, for all the videos, and so that we can get everybody to go there, check out the company. And Alan, it's great to have you on the show, and thank you for being here and sharing your experiences as an entrepreneur, as starting this brand. And I would say I've watched you for a long time. Congratulations on how far you've come. I'm excited to see what's going to happen here in the future with Navy football, with the team that you're building. I'm excited for you, and I'm here. I'm supporting you. And by the way, if anyone's listening, I'm actually an owner of the company too. So
Yes, you
I
are.
have, I have jumped in feet first because I do believe in the brand. I do believe in what you're doing. So congratulations on all your success, and thank you for coming on the show.
Thanks, John. And you know, it's not just all about beer. We've formed a foundation called the Armed Forces Brewing Company Veterans Foundation too. We've applied to the IRS for our 501c3 status, and we're really going to dive into the homeless veteran situation in America. It's absolutely shameful, and we're going to do what we can to help.
That's fantastic.
Yeah,
that's really good. So is there, well, more information will be coming out on that, I'm sure.
sure.
Yeah,
Sure.
outstanding. Well, very good, Alan. Thank you for coming on the show.
You got it, John. Thanks so much.
Well, that's it for today. Thank you for listening to Deep Leadership. If you like this podcast, please subscribe and share so we can continue to build a world with better bosses. Until next time, this is John Rennie saying, take care and lead well.